Welcome back to Football Daily, everybody. I'm feeling a little bit worse for wear. Last night we went out for drinks for Zach's birthday, so go over to Zach Jalab's Twitter and wish him a happy birthday, even though it was on Wednesday. He conned us all. Anyway, back to the important stuff, because this week we need to talk about FIFA 22. But before we get started, I want you to go into the comments right now, and I want you guys to leave a question for us on Sunday Vibes. What do you want us to talk about this week? Put it in the comments below. I'll pick some of the best ones. I'm particularly looking for personal questions. Questions away from the football pitch that we can answer. Stick them in the comments right now, please. Oh yeah, and whilst you're down there, hit the like button because, you know, it just helps out the channel, doesn't it? Cheers. Right then, the FIFA 22 ratings were released this week, and it's not generally something we'd usually cover because, you know, we're supposed to be a serious football channel, even though we chat absolute nonsense. However, I have seen some of the ratings, and I'm not happy about some of the ratings at all. So today, I'm going to be looking at the top 22 players. They kind of released the top 22. I don't know why they picked 22. Obviously, I know why they picked 22. You know, it's FIFA 22. Wake up, Joe. Wake the fuck up. Anyway, I'm going to be looking at those top 22 ratings, and I'm going to be putting them into 3 ranking categories. Accurate, overrated, underrated. Very simple. All right, let's start at the top then. The highest rated player in the game, Lionel Messi. Obviously, consistently the highest rated player, I believe. He was a 93 last season. He's a 93 this season. I don't play loads of FIFA, so I don't have great knowledge on these stats. If I get something wrong, I apologise. I'm going to be trying to put a real-life spin on it. What do I think in terms of real-life rankings rather than in-depth FIFA knowledge? If you're at home and you play a lot of FIFA, let me know in the comments below just how wrong I am. But yeah, anyway, Lionel Messi, 93. He was a 93 last season, wasn't he? I'm looking at his card now. I mean, for me, he's underrated. Like, I know that 93 is like the standard stock bearer for the best player in the game. We're not going to see like base cards at 96 because it leaves EA little room for manoeuvre to create Team of the Weeks and all sort of SBCs. So I'm thinking 93. Messi, for me, is the greatest player in history. He still produced 39 goal involvements last season. He won the Copa America. He's probably going to win the Ballon d'Or. You know, I would probably have Messi like a 94 or a 95. If I was being real and I've put my real-life football hat into FIFA, I would say Messi, you know, just to give them a little bit of leeway for Team of the Weeks and stuff, I would have him like 95. So I'm going to say underrated, even though he is the best player in the game. All right, up next, we've got Robert Lewandowski. Now, I think this must be the first time in a long time that it's not been Messi and Ronaldo as the top 2 players in the game. And rightly so, Robert Lewandowski is the best striker in world football. He's the best striker on the game. I mean, for me though, if I've got Messi as sort of a 95 rated player, I think Lewandowski could be 93. I think he could be a 93. To break Gerd Muller's Bundesliga goal scoring record, 41 goals, 7 assists in 29 starts last season for Bayern. Are you insane? That is madness. Absolute madness. I mean, what's his stats looking like? If he hasn't got 98 shooting, he's got 92 shooting. Like, I think that is an underrated statistic. Clearly the best finisher in world football, Lewandowski, like clearly. So I think 92 is an underrated statistic. He could be a 93 overall, in my opinion. I'm putting him in underrated too. Probably starting this off totally wrong. Cristiano Ronaldo up next as a 91. What was he last year? He was a 92. I'm just looking there. 36 years old now, but still Serie A's top goal scorer. Still one of the top 5 players in world football, in my opinion. Did struggle a little bit last season in the Champions League, didn't he? Chiesa kind of dragged them into any sort of contention against Porto, but I still think Ronaldo is deserved of a 91 rating. I'm going to put that in accurate because some of the other 91s, I think this whole group of 91s that I'm about to talk about are pretty spot on. Like KDB up next, I do think he's the best central midfielder in world football. He's the best centre mid on the game as well. And if I've got sort of Lewandowski as a 93 potentially in my head, Messi as 95, I would have KDB a similar sort of level to Cristiano Ronaldo in an alternative position. He had lots of injuries last season, of course. Only started 23 games, didn't he? But he did still pick up 6 goals, did still pick up 12 assists. I mean, he won the Premier League, didn't he? Won the League Cup, got to a Champions League final, got to an FA Cup semi. I think KDB is accurate. Next up then, Kylian Mbappe. Yeah, I think this is accurate as well. I think he is probably similar sort of level to Cristiano Ronaldo, the best young player in the world. Was it 27 goals in 27 Ligue 1 starts last year? Didn't win Ligue 1 though. And that, you know, is a bit of a black mark, isn't it? And also, didn't win the Champions League. Not the most successful season in terms of trophies, but I just don't know how you could give him anything other than a 91. What's his pace? What is Kylian's pace? 97 pace. Like, I'm sure that's up there. Top 3 quickest players in the game. He is top 3 in the world, I would say. I think Mbappe, pretty spot on at 91. Likewise, Neymar. I also think he's quite spot on. I think Neymar is the most naturally gifted footballer behind Lionel Messi in the world. He has huge injury issues. I think it was just 15 starts in Ligue 1 last season, wasn't it? Plenty more football in the Champions League than usual for him last year, though, which is a good sign. However, I don't think he's ever going to hit the heights of a Messi and Ronaldo because of those injury issues. Sad as it is to say, because he is so naturally talented. I just think that's accurate. That's fine. 91. Accept it and move on. Next up, we've got Yano Black. For me, the best keeper in the world by some distance. Every time I watch him, he is an absolute freak. We're talking best save percentage, best clean sheet percentage, highest prevented expected goals, least goals per 90. Every goalkeeping statistic on earth other than distribution he owns. So he could almost be underrated here because he's so good in his role. But no, I'll put him at spot on. If I've got KDB as accurate as the best centre mid, I'll say Black is accurate as the best goalkeeper. I do have an issue that there's not a centre-back that's above 90 rated. I think Virgil, as we'll come on to later, is underrated and should be in and around this 90-91 chat, even though he had that major injury last season. I mean, in terms of starts, EA aren't doing too bad here in this accurate category. I mean, I probably could have had Lewandowski and Messi inaccurate as well. I've been a bit different and said they should be even better than they are. Kane up next then. Yeah, I do think he's in the top 3 strikers in world football. I'm not going to lie. It's very close between him and Romelu Lukaku. Cristiano Ronaldo also up there as well. But I think Lewandowski is the standout best. And then those 3 are really tight in behind them. So I'm going to have to say that's accurate to have him up there. He's not as good as Mbappe, even though his numbers are superior in my opinion. You know, 23 goals, 14 assists. He's a way better creator than a player like Mbappe. I think he is probably the best finisher in the Premier League, but I would still take Mbappe if you were giving me both players. Just looking at Harry Kane's passing then, 83 I think is disrespectful. He should be up around the high 80s, maybe touching 90 in terms of passing. I think he's that good as a creator. He can drop deep, switch the play, drop balls in behind. He's absolutely outrageous at that. I'd probably give him like 88 in the passing statistics. So underrated in that area. But I think as an overall card, I'm happy with that one to put it in accurate. Next up, we've got Teshtagen, 90. No. That, for me, is an overrating. He was a 90 last season, and I do think he was okay. Like, look at those expected goal numbers. He did overperform expected goals. I think he kept out 2 or 3 more than he should have. But do I hold Teshtagen as one of the sort of 3 or 4 best goalkeepers in the world? No. I think Oblak's clear. I think Courtois is probably the 2nd best goalkeeper in the world. Then it's like Neuer, Ederson, Alisson. And then we're in the category of Teshtagen. So for Teshtagen to be a 90, I think, is an overrating, in my opinion. You know, a few injuries. He's just not quite the player he was in his early Barcelona days. So I would probably have him more like an 88, Teshtagen. Kante is up next. He's a 90. He's an 88 last season. Oh, God, I love Kante. I really do love Kante. And he obviously disproved the myth last season that he's just an out-and-out defensive midfielder. Fantastic work box-to-box under Thomas Tuchel. He was so effective in that Champions League run. So brilliant in key matches for Chelsea in big moments. However, I would have Joshua Kimmick ahead of him in the list of best central midfielders / I just said that he wasn't a defensive midfielder, but deeper lying midfielders. I would have Kimmick ahead of him. I think Kante should be an 89. So I'm going to put him in overrated. It's kind of accurate, but I think maybe one ranking too high. That's going to get battered in the comments, but I would have him more of an 89. You know, he is 30 years old now, just 24 starts last season. I just don't think he's in the 3 best centre mids in the world. Maybe he's third. He might be third. I don't know. I think he'd be an 89. I'm sticking with my guns. Manuel Neuer up next then. I mean, there was a time, wasn't there, a couple of seasons ago where we were kind of questioning, is he going to be able to get back to the Manuel Neuer levels we've seen in the past? I think he has got back to that level fairly comfortably now. I do think Black at 91, best goalkeeper. Then I think we're talking, like I said earlier, Courtois, Neuer, Ederson, Alisson. So I think probably accurate. Could be an 89. Could be an 89 and Teshtagen an 88 for me. But I'll put it in accurate just so as not to disrespect the legend. Okay, we got Salah up next then. And I think an 89 is totally disrespectful to Mo Salah. I really do. I think he is the best winger in Premier League history, as I've said before. I think that his goal-scoring exploits have now become so consistent to almost be underrated. Like, Liverpool struggled last season, still stuck up 22 goals. His numbers are that freakish that people take them for granted. That's the truth with Mo Salah. He should be a 90. I think he's underrated. Like, he is the level of Neymar and Mbappe, Mo Salah, for me. He is the level of Harry Kane, maybe even better. He could be a 91, Mo Salah, very comfortably. I think he could be a 91 because he's as good as KDB, he's as good as Mbappe, as good as Neymar. I think he's clinically underrated there. Donnarumma, I totally forgot about him when I was talking about the other goalkeepers earlier. He is also in contention very clearly with Ederson, with Alisson, with Neuer, with Courtois for that 90 rated spot. Do you know what? I'll stick him in accurate because I think 89, as I said with Neuer was kind of an 89-90 fringer. The legendary status has tipped him over. Donnarumma is going to be the best goalkeeper in the world in the long term. He can wait. He can wait, so 89's fine. He can relax on it. Karim Benzema then is another player that's like right on the line between underrated and accurate for me. Could be a 90. Could very easily be a 90 after last season. What's it, 23 goals, 9 assists in 33 starts. Harry Kane accurate at 90. Then Benzema, I think, not quite as good as him. Lukaku, Ronaldo, Lewandowski. I think 89 is accurate, but that pains me because he could easily be a 90. He's on the verge. I feel like I'm so hungover. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm just waffling. I'm putting him in accurate. Virgil Van Dijk up next then, and again I'm putting him in underrated. I think a few Liverpool players have been underrated here because they had a fairly poor season last year, but Virgil Van Dijk was injured throughout the course of it. He is still the best centre-back in world football. He just is. And the fact that he is an 89 and there isn't a defender above a 90, I think is nonsense. So what, we're saying that a centre-back can't be a 90 because he's a centre-back? Is that what we're saying? Virgil van Dijk, I mean, I'm looking at his card as well, and the biggest disrespect maybe I've seen so far is the fact that he's got 78 pace. I've seen Pepe's card in this game, yeah, he's got 80. Like, Virgil van Dijk, at a breeze, should have 85 pace. He is a total machine of a centre-back. I would have him 90, 91, and I'd have him 85 pace very comfortably. That's underrated. Joshua Kimmick up next. He was an 88 last season. He's an 89 this season. Also think he's underrated there. I think he is better than N'Golo Kante. He's massively underrated with his creative numbers. Like, his creative output is unbelievable to the extreme. Was it 10 assists last season? Should have been way more. I'm getting his FB ref up. Watch this, because I already know, having done some research on him before, that his creative output is in like the 99.999 percentile for midfielders in Europe. Look at this. Assists up there with a 99%. I'll expect assists up to 99 percentile. Shot creating actions right up. Like, he is a freak. Progressive passes, nearly 9 a game. Like, people think of Kimmick as being this really defensive midfielder. Look at these defensive numbers. Like, they're not terrible, but they're sort of middle of the pack, whereas his actual creativity sets him apart. He should be a 90. I would have him and Kante flipped round. Him as a 90, Kante as an 89, I think. I hope I don't get slammed for that too much. Son's up next then, and I think he's the best two-footed player in world football. I don't know whether he's left-footed or right-footed at this stage. It's just outrageously clinical. 17 goals, 10 assists in the Prem last season. Yeah, I think him and Mane at 89 is probably about fair enough, which is why Mo Salah should be a 90-91, because he is better than Son and Mane. So I'm going to put them in accurate, and I think that kind of shows you how good Salah is. Like, those two, I would say, are up there as the second and third best wingers in the Premier League, behind Mo Salah, who is just a freak at this stage. Alisson and Ederson, I'll rattle off at the same time as well then. I think they're both accurate, 89. I've already spoken about how unbelievable those guys are, and how this little pack of goalkeepers that's forming of Neuer, of Ederson, of Alisson, of Donnarumma, just sitting behind Yano Black for me. Very, very close to Yano Black, but not quite there. And then Teshtagen a level down, which is why I think I'm going to put Courtois as underrated. I think Courtois last season was the second best goalkeeper in the world, and if we've got Neuer up here as a 90, I think Courtois should have been a 90 as well. I think just a slightly better season than Alisson and Ederson. It should be Black 91, Courtois 90, then Neuer 89, Ederson 89, Alisson 89, Donnarumma 89. That is the truth. So does that mean I should now move Neuer? Yeah, I'm putting Neuer in overrated then, because I hope that makes sense. Again, my hungover brain is trying to comprehend that, but I think Neuer should be an 89, not a 90, so therefore he's overrated, even though he is still unbelievable. Finally then, we've got Casemiro. Overrated for me. I don't think he is in the 3 best defensive midfielders in the world. I would have Fabinho significantly ahead of Casemiro in my defensive midfield lineup. I'd have Kimmick ahead of him, Kante ahead of him. I would have... who else am I missing? Fabinho, obviously. I think Jorginho had a better season than him comfortably last year. He is up there. I'd have him maybe an 88 or an 87, Casemiro. I think that would be a little bit more fair, but not in my 3 best defensive midfielders in the world, therefore overrated at 89. Alright, so that was my ranking and reaction to FIFA 22's ratings of the top 22 players. I'm a little bit hungover, so it might have come across a little bit of a mess when I'm articulating things. However, I hope you understood the points I was trying to make. Put some justice on Mo Salah's name. Put some justice on Virgil Van Dijk's pace. Put some justice on Harry Kane's passing, FIFA. Leave a comment for Sunday Vibes. Hit the like button. Thanks very much for watching. I'm off to get a paracetamol and some water. Thanks. Bye.